Hi, thanks again for joining. This is Tim Meyer from Keep Yourself Relevant. I'm going to be the second video on a book that I read that I really like. It's called The Introverted Leader by Jennifer Kahnweiler. And in the first series, we introduced the details of what an introvert and an extrovert are, as well as the four Ps, which is a framework that you can use to manage your personal growth for being introverted and how you can use that to establish changes in how you go about your career. And then today, I want to spend some time talking about how you apply the 4P framework to being a introverted leader and you are leading your team members in your organization. So with that, let's get started. So the agenda for today is to spend time doing a quick review of the four Ps. As I indicated, I have another video. The first video, we spent more time talking through the four Ps. And then we'll spend the majority of the video then going through the details of leading people with the 4P framework. So again, here are the characteristics of introverts and extroverts, and I'll give you a second to just refresh your memory on those. And then just keeping in mind that as you're leading your team, and if there are introverts on your team, they'll go through and have these different challenges. They tend to get, when they're around a lot of people, that's draining on them. They need time, alone time to kind of refresh. They also, in a fast paced environment, they'll need time to reflect. They do not like to get interrupted because they feel like they're not heard. And if they're hesitant to participate, in a group setting, they may feel like they're not being heard as well. The pressure to self-promote, they are trying to avoid being the person in the room that's talking. So that's something to keep in mind and as a challenge for introverts. The emphasis on teams, they tend to want to work as an individual, but they will willingly work on teams. And then the last one is negative impressions. Because they don't necessarily participate verbally in meetings, they may come across as not engaged or not disinterested in the topic. So those are some challenges that you'll just want to be aware of as you're leading your team. And again, the 4P framework is the first P is prepare. The second one is presence. The third one is push. And the fourth one is practice. And I'll just review this example that we used in the first video. Under prepare, for the example where you want to be heard in meetings, the preparation portion would be prepare questions, prepare talking points, and get to the meeting early. And the P for presence is to speak up in the first 5 minutes. P for push is make your key points at some point during the meeting or as the meeting is beginning to getting to the end. You want to make sure your key points are re-emphasized. And then practice is try these techniques in your next meeting and note the results. What worked and what will you do differently? When you're now leading people, these are the pieces that we'll go over in the details of applying the 4P framework to leading your people. And we'll go through these one by one. So on the prepare, you want to make sure that you know yourself. You as a leader probably have some blind spots. It's important to be aware of those. And when you're building your team, you also want to be aware of your recruiting bias. You want to make sure that you're making the team comfortable, or the incoming team members that you're interviewing are comfortable. You want to schedule adequate time for your interviews. Try to make sure that they're comfortable. Another key point is to understand your team. You want to make sure you understand who the introverts are and extroverts are in your team, or if you have team members that are ambivert, meaning they would be in the middle between an introvert and an extrovert. And then make sure that your environment, you're creating a safe environment for everyone to work, and you're allowing the introverts to participate as well as the extroverts to participate in your team. When I talk, spend a little time talking about presence. As the leader of the team, you want to be able to walk around and just be present in your within your team. Now, with remote working, that's a little bit harder in the event that you're not physically together, but you want to make sure you're doing then potentially just check-ins with your team members. I like to do one-on-ones with my team members. I do those every 2 weeks, but we also have a daily stand-up where we allow for you getting an understanding of where people are each day. You want to make sure that you write down anything that you're working on with your team member. You want to listen like a leader, making sure that you're giving the team member an opportunity to talk. You want to have more spontaneous conversations as well. Just even though we're probably working remote now, you want to make sure that it's just like it would be in an office where you stop by someone's cube and say hi. And Teams provides that framework where you can just chat with someone. You want to pay attention when you have your one-on-ones. It's probably a good idea to have those with the cameras on in the event that it's a normal practice of not necessarily having your cameras on. And then obviously as a leader, you want to be flexible in your style and how you work with others. I did another video on situational leadership, which goes hand in hand with making sure you're applying your leadership style to different people. Situational leadership is more based on showing different leadership styles based on a task, but you could use that same concept of based on the situation, you change your style and how you're working with the person, whether they're an introvert or an extrovert. When it comes to the next one, the push, you want to make sure that you're assertive. One of the key things that, as an introverted leader, that is going to be potentially hard for you to get used to is being sure that you're delegating work across the team. You want to make sure that your team is growing in their skills as they um, spend more time in the particular role. You want to make sure that your knowledge is being given back um, to the team members on the team, and that over the course of 6 months to a year, that each team member is growing, and by delegating work to them and giving them opportunity of what you want them to grow in, they'll be able to be in a better position 6 months from today, if you will. Be open minded when you're working with the people, making sure that you're understanding both how the introvert is thinking and wants to work, as well as how the extroverts want to work and what they thrive on. And you want to make sure that you're eliciting opposite viewpoints. So if you're an introvert as the leader, you want to make sure that you're engaging and working with the extroverts as well as the introverts. Obviously, it's common sense that you would just make sure you're being inclusive and working with everyone. And then the fourth one, P for practice, is just make sure you're surrounding yourself with a support system. You want to make sure that everything in your work environment is comfortable and able for everyone to work well together on. So that's really kind of a quick recap of how you can use the 4P process or framework to lead your team member. What I've found that is the most valuable to use is the P for push. You want to make sure that as a leader, you're delegating and not doing the work yourself, but you're growing your team members throughout the year. Again, the reference for this video was The Introverted Leader by Jennifer Kahnweiler. So if you like this video, please consider giving it a like and please consider subscribing. Thank you and have a good day.